Hello, welcome to another episode in the series of Doing Simple GIS project. So in this episode, we are going to prepare the map of Nigerian political framework. So in essence, what I'm talking about is we are going to prepare the map of the geopolitical zones, senatorial districts, federal constituency, and the state constituency of Nigeria. So the resources I'm going to use for this GIS project is basically the data set I obtained from the INEC website. Let me open up the website for you. So here on this INEC web page, you should be able to download the Senatorial District, Federal and State Constituency of Nigeria nationwide. So just click on this download button to download the data. And also another interesting website I found is this website that is called shineyoureye.org. So here too, we are going to basically make use of these two resources to prepare the map of Nigerian political framework. And also there is this research work here too that I'm going to make use of this data to also work on this GIS project. So all these data are open source. They are available online. You can go ahead and download them and follow along. So if you download this file here, it should be an Excel file that will look like this. So these are Nigerian senatorial districts. So there are actually three tabs in the Excel file. The first is Nigerian senatorial district, the second is the federal constituencies, and then the third is the state constituencies. So we are going to use this data to prepare the maps of these political frameworks. So, but before then, the first one we are going to do is the geopolitical zones. So you know, if a president is to win the election in the country, at least he should be able to win in some of these geopolitical zones. Maybe I think we have six geopolitical zones. So if he's able to win at least four or five, then definitely he can definitely win the election in the country. So the geopolitical zones, I think, is not a big deal. We know the states. The composition of the geopolitical zone is made up of states, and the states usually, I think, a geopolitical zone is made up of at least average of 6 or 7 states, if I'm not mistaken. So the data set is here where we have the six geopolitical zones. We have the northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, south, and then southwest. So I think we have the average of 6 states for each geopolitical zones. So we are going to make use of this data to map up the geopolitical zones. So then the senatorial district, this is where we are going to make use of the data we obtained from the INEC website and also the data available on the shineyoureye.org website. So a senatorial district is usually made up of local governments, LGAs. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it should be average of 6 or 7 LGAs that makes up a senatorial district. As you can see here, this is Abia State, and the composition of the Abia North Senatorial District are these local governments. For Abia Central, these are the composition of local government that made up the senatorial district. So continuously, we also have for Akwa Ibom, we have for Adamawa, Anambra, and for the whole 36 states, or 37, including FCT. So I'll basically use this data to map the senatorial districts, but I'm not going to go over the entire 37 or 36 states. I will just pick at random maybe one state and then 1 or 2 states and then show you how the mapping is done. Then for the federal constituencies are made up of LGAs, but their number are not up to that of the senatorial district. I think for federal constituency we have maybe two or three local governments, 2 or 3 LGAs that are made up of a constituency. So that is why you will see that we have more constituencies, federal constituencies than the senatorial districts in a state. So a state will have 3 senatorial districts, while the federal representatives or federal constituency in a state are more than 3. Here for Abia State, we have 8 federal constituencies, and then here I think we have almost about 8 too. So that is Adamawa State. This is for Anambra and so on. So all the states, federal constituencies are also listed on this file you download from the INEC website. Then the state constituencies, these are usually made up of wards. So a local government is further splitted into parts to make up the state constituencies. So here, the state constituency of Aba North is part of the local government. So as you can see, this is the part of the local government. So how do you get the part of the local government? You are going to get some wards. Some wards are part of these state constituencies, while some wards are not part of it. So here you see that in a state we have 20 or more state representatives. So these are honorables that represent the state constituencies at the state House of Assembly. So let me go back to the website where this data is being listed. So on this website, you can see here we have a summary of what all the state House of Assemblies, the number of seats in each state of House of Assembly. Like Abia will have 24 seats in the state House of Assembly, Adamawa 25, Akwa Ibom 26, and so on. We have, I think, Lagos and Kano have the largest seats in their state, in their respective states House of Assembly, with 40 each. Oyo is 32, Plateau 24, Zamfara 24, Yobe 24. So this is the summary. And on this particular website, you can easily navigate to any of the frameworks, political frameworks that you wanted to investigate, like senators, or let me use places. Senatorial district, for example. If I go to senatorial districts, you should see the list of all the senatorial district for each of the states. So like for Abia will have 3 senatorial districts: Abia Central, Abia North, and Abia South. If I go to another state, maybe Ekiti, we also have 3: Ekiti Central, Ekiti North, and then Ekiti South. If I go to maybe Niger, we have Niger East, Niger North, Niger South. So if I go to Yobe, we have Yobe East, Yobe North. So these are the senatorial districts, and you can click on each one to get more detail about it. Then the federal constituencies. So in each of the states, we have the federal constituency listed. So just in case if you are confused with the data you downloaded from INEC, if this data is confusing you, at least you have a more explanatory data on this website called shineyoureye.org. So for the constituencies, we have this on Abia State. We have the following federal constituencies. I think they should be about 8 or so. So each state has its own. If I go to Kaduna, we have Kaduna too. And all these federal constituencies are made up of local governments, LGAs. You have Kwara, you can see their own federal constituencies. Nasaratu, we have their own federal constituencies. Then if you go back to the state constituencies too, you see that all the states have their constituencies listed. So I think this is a more visual data presentation compared to what you have on the INEC webpage in Excel. So we are going to make use of the data, both the one reference on this website and the one reference on the INEC website, to prepare the maps for the political frameworks in Nigeria. So let's start with the geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So to continue with this project, all we will need are just three administrative level map of the country. That's why we're going to need the state boundaries, the LGA boundaries, and then the world map. So you can easily download this from the sources online such as Natural Art, Diva GIS, OpenStreetMap, and so on. But if you don't mind supporting my work, I have downloaded and packaged the whole of these layers for you to download for it open. So I am going to load the maps, and then we are going to start by producing the geopolitical zones that is made up of the states. So let me load the layers, and then we are going to continue with the map. So I'll go to add and then navigate to the location where I have the map. So here I have the three layers of the map we are going to use. So I'll just load them, and then we now have the state, the LGA, and then the world. So these are the three layers we are going to use for this work. So to produce the map of the geopolitical zones, their compositions are state. So of course, I have the list of the states that made up the six geopolitical zones. So each geopolitical zone has a state listed. So there are several ways of doing this, but I think the easiest way is to prepare this in a format that you can just import and then add it up to the state administrative boundary map layer. So I have rearranged the data from what we have here into this two-column spreadsheet. So the first column has the state, and then the second column has the zones. So if I import this into the map, I will now map based on the states, based on the zones. So let's import this spreadsheet into the QGIS environment. So I'll go to add vector layer. Then I will navigate to the location where I have the map saved. So here I think this is where I have it. So this is CSV file. I'll just click on open, add, and then add it to the map canvas, just like that. So these are the CSV files. This is the CSV file, and these are the columns of interest. So what we need to do now is use the state boundary. So I can off this, and then use the state boundary. I'll just go to the properties, right click or double click to go to the properties, and then go to join tab. Then here under the join tab, you are going to click on this add join. Then we are joining the layer to this geopolitical zones, which is the CSV layer we just added. So I'm going to add just these two fields, the state and then the zones. So the join field is the state, then the target field is the state attribute field, the state name attribute field. So then let me see. This is a custom field. I'll just make it. I'll just call it zone underscore whatever the name is here. So I'll call it zone underscore whatever the name is here. This is just to identify that the column that start with zone are those that came from the CSV file. So that is just the importance. If I click on OK, and then I can now check the attribute table of the column, and then you can see now that I have all the layer imported. But I think only one had issue. Yeah, only one had issue that was not imported, and that is FCT Abuja. So the name on the shapefile is called Abuja, while the name on the CSV file I think is called something else. It's called Federal Capital Territory. So this is why it was not joined properly. So we can easily edit this manually. So the zone is in the north central, so I'll just do it manually. And then, so here I'm going to save it on a new layer. So let me export it to a new shapefile layer. me use shapefile instead of geopackage. So save it. So save it here. I'll just name it as maybe version 1 so that I will know that this is a different file from the one we're using. The coordinate system will remain the same, WGS84. So okay. Then I think I can now remove this. We don't need it anymore. Even this one too, the table, we don't need it. So I'll like click and then open up the attribute table. So this side that says Abuja is in the north central, so I'll just copy it here. Edit north central. The zone is north central. Then the zone state, I'll just replace Abuja here. So this is it. If I can now save and then exit. So I can now query this zone underscore zone layer, zone underscore zone attribute field. I can now query it by each of the zones, then merge them together to make the map of the geopolitical zones. So what I will do is I'll copy the zones from here. So let me start with northeast. So I'll copy, then open up the attribute table, then query this column, that is a zone underscore zone is equal to northeast. Then I can now select. You can see the northeast states are selected. So if I go back, you see that these are the northeast zones. So what I can do is I can toggle edit. Then I will use this match selected features command to match all the selected features. So northeast zone, I'll match all the selected features. So that is that for northeast. Then the next zone is northwest. I'll copy it, go back to the attribute table, then query for northwest, sorry, zone equal to north. I think I have not copied this. So copy it back and paste. So the northwest states are selected. Then I can now use the match. So I'll match them together to form the boundary for northwest. Then the next is a north central. So north central, I'm supposed to have about how many states? 7 states here. That is this one. So let's query for the attribute. So select from the field zoom equal to north central. So correct, we have 7 states selected. So I'll also merge them together. And then we'll have the north central. Then the next zone is southeast. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 states. So I'll query the attribute. The field name is zone underscore zone equals to southeast. Yes, we have the 5 states selected. Then I'll use the match tool to match them together. Then the next one is south. Copy it and go there. Then open up the attribute. Then query by the attribute on the field column zone equals to south. So south, I think we have 5 states there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we have 6 states. Yeah, 6 states. So that is correct. Then I just need to merge them together. Merge them together, and then we'll have the zones. Then the last but not the least is southwest, which is this equals to southwest. Select them. We have 6 states selected. Let's confirm the state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we have 6 states selected. Then we can now merge these 6 states together. So we have successfully created the geopolitical zones of the country. I can now go back to the attribute table and then clean up the unwanted columns. So like the capital will not need the state name. I think the only instance where we will need the state name is maybe we'll have to put the entire state name that makes up the composition of the geopolitical zones. I think I will leave the state name so that I can put the composition of the state name, but the capital I don't think we need it. Then the geographic, yes, I will leave this geographic column. Then zone state, no, I'll remove this zone state. So I click on OK. So I think the next thing I need to do now is to make up this composition. So here I'm going to delete what I say, and then here this is not central. So North Central state. The states that made up the North Central geopolitical zones, I'm going to list them here. So I'll just go back to my note here, and then I'll copy the states. I'll go to my notepad and then arrange them. So here I'll just do this comma, then the next one to comma. So I'm separating the 7 states with that. I'll just copy it, then paste it here. So as you can see, so these are the 7 states that made up the geopolitical zones, the North Central geopolitical zone. So I'll repeat the same thing for northeast, northwest, north, southeast, and so on. So, but I'm not going to do it in this video recording so that the video will not get unnecessarily long. So you should be able to do it by yourself. So that is that. So with this, I can go to the properties and then change the symbology based on category. And the category, I will use the zone, classify, and then click on OK. Let me clear the selection. So these are the geopolitical zones. So we are done with the first task, which is the map of the geopolitical zones, which are made up of composition of several states. So the next we need to do is to prepare the map of a senatorial district. So to prepare the map of senatorial district for each of the states, recall that we have this data set in our hand, where we have the composition of all the senatorial district. And from what I can see here, each state is made up of 3 senatorial districts. So let's pick just one and then use it as an example. So maybe I'm going to pick randomly, let's say Kaduna State. So Kaduna State, let's work with Kaduna State as an example. Then you should be able to do the rest by yourself. So if I go back to the map in QGIS, I think what we have here, we'll have LGA, we'll have the world map. I think we should also bring in the state so that at least we'll see where Kaduna State is. So I'll go back to the shapefile and then load the state administrative boundary. So I'm going to select the shapefile here. So this is the state admin boundary. Yeah, so these are the state administrative boundaries. So I say we are going to work with Kaduna. So what I need to do, I need to identify where Kaduna State is. I can sort by alphabetically, then select Kaduna. So this is Kaduna State. So let's prepare the map of the Senatorial District of Kaduna State. So the easiest way to go about it, since a Senatorial District is made up of the composition of LGAs, so the easiest way to go about it is extract the map of Kaduna State, the local government map of Kaduna State out of the entire Nigeria, so that it will be easier for us to work with. Or better still, we can still make use of filter. So when you right click on the LGA map of Nigeria, then you can now go to filter. Then you want to filter by state name. So state name that equals to Kaduna. Kaduna, for example, when you say equals to Kaduna, you should see that all the LGAs are gone, and then you are left with just that of Kaduna State. So if you want to remove the filter, you just go back and then clear the expression here, and then you will be left with all the other LGAs will come back. So or another way you can do is to query for Kaduna State on this layer, and then save the selected polygons to a different layer. Then you can work with it. But I think to save time and space on our hard disk, I think it's better I just use the filter option. So filter, and then write the expression Kaduna State. The state name is also Kaduna State. So if you are working with another state, you change Kaduna State to that state. Maybe if you are working maybe with Lagos, you just change it to maybe to Lagos. Then when you filter it, you'll be left with just the LGAs in the Lagos State. But this time around, I just want to use that of Kaduna State. So I'll filter for just Kaduna State. So these are the LGAs in Kaduna State. Then what I need to do now is I will go back to the material downloaded from INEC. So I can see that here Kaduna State is made up of 3 senatorial districts: Kaduna North, Kaduna Central, and then Kaduna South. So let's start with Kaduna North. So Kaduna North are made up of these LGAs. So I'll copy them and then go back to the notepad and then prepare them. So the first thing I need to do is I need to prepare this in a format that I can use it to query for the LGAs here, because as it is now, if I open the attribute table, it is difficult for me to identify the LGAs. Even if I sort them alphabetically, it will be difficult for me to start looking for the LGAs. If I say Kubau, and then I will now search Kubau manually. Kubau is somewhere here. Yes, I will select it. Then go to the next one, Ikara. I will look for Ikara, manually select it, and then until I get to the end, it will be cumbersome. It's difficult. So the easiest way is for me to just prepare an expression where I can just make use of the whole thing and then carry out my selection in an easy manner. So to do that, I will first of all copy the entire thing here, because on the attribute table has the LGAs in with the first name capitalized and the remaining letters in lowercase. So I have to make this to match the same pattern, because this is all capitalized. So I will need to change this to lowercase, to title case. And the easiest way to go about it is I will just go to Microsoft Word and then change it to all title case. Or I can use an expression to convert this to uppercase and then use the query. I think if I convert it to uppercase, that should be better. So let me see how I can do it. I can go to toggle edit and then go to field calculator. Then the field calculator, I'll just update existing field. So I'm updating the LGA name, the name of the LGA. And what am I updating it to? I'm updating it to, I want to capitalize the whole word, the entire word. So I will check this because of the two that are selected. So I will go here. I think there is a function called upper. Yeah, this is it. So it converts a string to uppercase letters. Yes. So what am I converting to uppercase letters? I'm converting a column. So what is the column I'm converting? So the column name is, or the field name is LGA name. So I'm converting this, I'm updating the existing field by converting the name of in the existing field to uppercase letters. So this is the function that does the magic. So if you're familiar with Python, at least you should know that there is a function to convert a string to uppercase. So I'll just do that. And then boom, everything is changed to uppercase. So I can now use this to perform the query. So, but there's another thing that needs to be done. Each of these names has to be wrapped within a quote. So we need to surround each of these with a quote. So I'll do that too. So this time around, I'm going to use a text editor to make my work faster. So I'll just switch to Sublime Text Editor. It is free too. You can download it free of charge online. So I'll switch to the text editor and then wrap each of these string in quote. So here in Sublime Editor, I paste the list of LGAs and then I'll just select each name of local government and then click on the quote button on my keyboard. So you can see with this, at least it makes the work faster instead of doing it in a notepad manually. Then I can now surround everything with the braces. Then I can copy it or cut it, then take it to with this expression. So LGA in, then I will now paste that expression I've prepared. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we should expect 8 selections. So that is good. So we can see that 8 LGAs were selected. So this is the expression. I'll copy it back to my text editor. Close this. Then go back to my text editor. So I'll paste it. So this is going to be the format of the expression we are going to use. So this is the name of the column in, then in bracket the list of LGAs. So this is going to be the format of expression that we'll use throughout this exercise. So with the 8 local governments selected, if I go back, I will see them. So I can now click on the merge tool to merge them. If I merge them, they are there. And then if I go back to my notes, this is Kaduna North. So I can change the name of the column to Kaduna North, or I can use this code because this code provided by INEC are unique. So I can put this unique code. Then later on, I can match the entire table based on this code, or join the entire table based on this code. So let me actually make use of the code. So Kaduna South is represented by this code. I'll go back to the map and then I will select the region I just matched. Go back to the attribute table. Then I will create a new column called. Then it's going to be a string, a text column. Click on OK. Then the code is given by this Southern Kaduna. I think the name LGA. No, I don't need to worry about this. I can easily change this later on. This will be the composition, or this is going to be the code I'm going to use to match the file. So later on, you're going to see the benefit of this code column. But for now, let's continue with the match. So I'll go back to the Excel file. Now I want to do for Kaduna Central. So I'm going to copy the entire local governments that made up the composition of Kaduna Central Senatorial District. Then I'm going to go to my text editor, which is somewhere here. So I'll paste that of Kaduna Central and then remove this. So I'm going to surround each local government with a single quotes, just like that, to build up my expression. So I'll copy it back to the expression, then copy the entire expression. Then I can now go back to my QGIS map environment. So here I'm going to clear the selection, then make a new selection. I'll just paste the expression and then click. So here we have 7 local governments selected. So let's confirm the number of the local government. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, so this is correct. 7 local government made up Kaduna Central. So I'll go back and then copy the code for Kaduna Central. Copy the code, then go back and then match that region. Then select it, go back to the attribute table, and then paste in the code for Kaduna Central. So even without going back to the Excel file to copy the remaining LGAs, we know that the remaining LGAs are going to be Kaduna South. But let's just copy it and then confirm it. So here I'm going to prepare that of Kaduna South. So paste and copy it, then delete the previous LGs we have here, paste, copy the entire expression, go back to QGIS, open up the attribute table, clear the selection, and then make a new selection. So here you can see that we have a problem in this expression because we have a local government that has a quote in its name. So the easiest way to escape this quote in name is to have double quote there, and then if you have double quote there, it will be read as just one quote. So I think if you're a programmer, you should know how to escape strings. For example, like in Python, I think it is backslash. It is backslash to escape a string, but I don't think it will work here. So what works for me here is to have double quote when the variable name or the LGA name has an extra quote in its name. So you query the selections, and then it's expected that we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should have 8 LGA selected, but here we'll just have just 2. So I think we have an issue here. We have an issue with Kaduna, with Kauru. Yes, you can see the name here, Kauru. It's supposed to be Kaura. Then another name, another complete name is Zongonkataf. Yes, we have Zongonkataf here too, is not highlighted simply because maybe it belongs to another. Okay, let me see. So you have to be careful with some of these names. Zanga. I think Zango. No, I think all of this should be Kaduna South. Kaduna South definitely should be Kaduna South. So if you are confused, definitely you have to go back and make more research about, because sometimes INEC does make mistake and you should be able to find the correct thing, especially when you go online to other sources to compare what they have. So I think these are the two LGs that are left out. This and this. So obviously this should be Kaduna South. Well, let's quickly do the confirmation using the other source of data we are using for this project. So I'll go back online and then check. So here on shineyoureye.org, I'll go to, since we are dealing with a senatorial district, I'll go to senatorial district and then go to Kaduna State to see what Kaduna State has as for us. So I'll simply go to Kaduna State. Where's Kaduna? Yeah, Kaduna State. So there are 3 senatorial districts. I think the one we have issue with is this Kaduna South. So Kaduna South, we should be able to see the composition of the senatorial districts. So here we see that okay, the House of Rep, Senator. No, it's not there. So well, I'm going to do the research behind the scene and then do the writing. So instead of doing it in the video recording and then making the video unnecessarily long. So but I hope you understood the issue and then you know how to address it. So but I'm sure that this will definitely be part of Kaduna South. So I'll match everything together, then go back and then copy the code for Kaduna South. Then go back to the attribute table. So here we have the code for Kaduna South. So here we have the 3 senatorial districts. And then I can close this. So with this now, we can now say, okay, if we want to match this information to the map, since we have this code column, we can easily copy this to a separate. I'll copy this Kaduna to a separate, a new CSV file. So I'll paste it like that, and then I'll just save it as a new CSV file. So I'll save it as a CSV file. Let me call it Kaduna. Maybe Kaduna State. Yes. Save it. So it's a CSV file. I'll go back to the map and then I'll join the table to this based on this code column. So you can see the importance of having this code right there. So I'll go back to here and then I'll just add the CSV file like this. So I think the file should be somewhere here. Yeah, Kaduna State. Add it. Then I now need to add it here. So let me save this and edit, exit toggle editing. So I'll double click on the LGA layer. Then I'll go to join, then add join. Then I'm joining it to this Kaduna table. Then I'm joining it based on this code column. Then the target column is the code column. Then the join field, let me join all the names. Then the custom field name prefix. I'll just use KD for Kaduna. I'll call it OK. Then I will say OK. Then now if I check the attribute table, you should see that we have the names on the CSV file, or the names we have in the spreadsheet added to the what? Joined to the map. So these are the codes we have on the map, and these are the code we have on the attribute on the spreadsheet here. So that is the essence of using the code. You can easily import the data you have on the INEC table into the map just by adding the code to the map. So if I select, this is Kaduna, this is Kaduna Central. So this is Kaduna Central, and then this is Kaduna South. That was the one we have issue with earlier on. This is Kaduna South. Then the other one is here, Kaduna North. So if I select Kaduna North, you see this is the Kaduna North. So this is what we need to do for all the remaining states. And after we are done with it, we should have a complete senatorial district map of the entire country. So that is that. So now that we are done with Kaduna State, we need to move to the next state. But I'm not going to do that in this video series because it's going to prolong the video unnecessarily. So the next thing we are going to talk about is the federal and state constituency. So the concept is still the same thing. The only difference is the state, the map is going to get more complicated because we are now subdividing more and more. Here we're going to subdivide more regions in the federal constituency. So let's see how we can do that for a chosen state. Okay, for the federal constituencies, I will also use a state for the demonstration. So let's go back to the data we have. So this is for the senatorial districts, and this is for the federal constituencies. So I think I'm going to use, should I use Kaduna? Well, let me make you use of a different state this time around so that at least you see the difference, and then you will see how things have been done. So I think let me use a state from the south. Let's use Abia State. So Abia State, I'll just copy it. To make life easier, I'll just copy everything from Abia State into a new worksheet. So here we have the state of Abia, and then we have the code, the name of the constituencies, and the name of the federal constituency. So in the case of constituencies, the compositions are also LGAs. So let's see. So what we need to do, first of all, let me save the content. Let me save it to my file, my project folder. So this is the project folder. I'll just call it Abia State. Abia State Federal Constituency. Then what I need to do is I need to go back to the QGIS. Then since they are made up of LGAs, so we're going to make use of the LGA layer. I'll just filter Abia State out. So Abia State, and then zoom to that layer. So this is the state of Abia. That is Abia State. Let me confirm it by selecting the state polygon shape file here. So this is Abia State UMA here, and then it is the southeastern geographical zone. So let's go back to the LGs. So here we have about how many LGs? We'll have about 17 LGs. So this is the code we have from the other shapefile. I think okay, this column are coming from the Kaduna LGA, the Kaduna G. I think I will just remove that so that we can have a clean attribute table. So the best thing, I'm supposed to have save a layer for the different states, so that I'll have different working files. So for the senatorial district, I should have saved a different layer for senatorial district and then different layer for federal constituencies. But since this is just a demo, at least it doesn't matter. But at least you should know that the layers will be different. The map layers will be different. So LGA map for senatorial district, and then the LGA map for federal constituencies. So we have 17 LGAs, and then we have about 8 federal constituencies. So we are going to collapse the 17 LGAs into 8 federal constituencies. So the first constituency is Abia North/Abia South, and then the composition is the entire geographical area of Abia North and Abia South. So what I will just do is to copy Abia North and South and then select them from the attribute table. So I'm going to query the layer. I'm going to query the attribute field, geographical, the LGA name. Then I'll just type in the expressions like this. So Abia North, I'm going to separate it from Abia South, because these are two local governments. They are two LGAs. So if I select, I will have the two regions selected just like that. So this is Abia North and South. So the composition of Abia North and South makes up the Abia North, Abia South Federal Constituency. And if you go back to the map, you can now combine the two regions together, and then the code will be given by this. So let's go back, and then I will toggle the edit mode. Then I will now merge selected features. So I'll merge the selected features. I'll select the merge result, go to the attribute table, and then insert the field as that. So this is this. So that is that for that. You can save it and then deselect the region. Then I will move to the next one. That is the second federal constituency, which is known as Arochukwu and Ohafia. So the composition is also the entire geographical region of Orochukwu and Ohafia. So I can just copy the code, then go back and then select them. So this is Orochukwu. Where is it on the map? This is it on the map. And then where's Ohafia? So by pressing down the control button, I can select multiple. I can click on the row to select it. No, sorry, this is a different. This is the wrong local government. So this is Ohafia. So Orochukwu and Ohafia. These are two different local governments that makes up the Orochukwu Ohafia federal constituency. So that is it. This and this makes up the federal constituency. So by the time we are done, we should have the 8 polygons just like this, where each of the polygons represent each of the federal constituencies in the state. So I think the next thing we need to do is the state constituencies. So the concept for state constituencies is the same thing as we have done previously. The only thing is here is that we are going to make use of the word word data. So let me check the file we have, and then these are the state constituencies. So I think I'm going to pick a state that is reasonably easy to complete, because some of the states will be complicated and it will require an extensive research to get the correct word names or LGAs that make up the state constituency. So let's see if we have one that has a lot of the entire local governments in one. Yeah, I think Kano State should be relatively easy, because most of the entire local governments are the make up the state constituencies. So here we have Albasu with the entire local government as the composition of the state constituency. Then we also have Shanono and Bakwai. So these are two LGAs that make up one constituency. And I think we also have one here that has two local governments that make up the state constituency. And then we also have another one. So aside from these three, virtually every other one is just a single local government that makes up the state constituency. So what we can do here is simply copy out this file. So just copy out this to a new file so that I can save it and then work with it. So we can close this. Don't need to save it. Open up a new document. Then I can call it Kano so that I can work with it. So let me save it as a CSV file. So this one I will just call it Kano State. Okay. So it's just a CSV file. And then as you can see, we have 42 records, 41 records if you remove the header. And I think the local governments in Kano State are about 44 of them. So it means by the time we match 2 or 3 of those local governments, we should have just the exact number of the state constituencies we have. So let's go back to the map. So for the map, I'm going to make use of the Kano State, but this time around I'll just save it as a separate file. Go to filter. I'm going to clear out the filter. So zoom to layer. So what I will just open up the attribute. Then the state name, I'll just query for the state name Kano. So the field I want to query for the state name should equal to Kano. Yes. So I have 42 records selected. So I'll just save those records into a new file so that it will be easier for me to work with. So save selected features. So I'm just saving it as a shape file. Then I will add it to the map. So I can minimize this. I don't need them. I can even remove the alert of Abia State. I don't need it. So zoom to Kano State. So here we have our Kano. So if I open up the attributes, you can see that we have all the attributes as expected. So what we needed here is I think we can just work on this local government that have more than one LGAs as their state constituencies, and then merge them together. Then we can now import the remaining ones. So let's start from the bottom up. So this very LGA is called or better still, what I will do, instead of doing it manually like this, let me first of all import the whole record. Then I can now go back and edit the few ones that will not be joined. I will now edit them manually. So let's go back. So the first thing I need to do, I need to make sure that this column, the column I'm going to use as the joined column, the name should match the name of these constituencies, because these ones are in capital letter. So I need to make all these uppercase so that the names will match. So I'll simply edit it and then go to field calculator, then update existing field. So what I want to update is the LGA field. And then I want to make it upper. So what do I want to make it upper? What do I want to make upper is the field name. So update, save, then so go back and import it. Kano State. Okay, so I think it's in order now. So what I will do is open up the property dialog box for the Kano State map layer. Then go to join Kano State based on what column, name of constituency. Then the target on the map is going to be the LGA. So I want to import the whole of these columns. Then the custom field prefix should be KN for Kano. Okay. So if I now check the attribute table, sorry, if I right click and then open up the attribute table of the shapefile, I'll see that I have all the names except the few ones that will not be imported. So I have some few ones that are not imported, probably because of the naming convention. Maybe the spellings are not the same, or some of them have to be merged with other ones to make the state constituency. So let me save the layer. So I'm going to save the layer, the entire layer, as a new shapefile. Or better still, let me save it as a geo package, so that at least it will work just like a database file. Then I'll add it to the map. So I think I can remove that layer. I can also remove this table. I don't need it. Then I'll open the attribute of the new layer I just saved. Yeah. So here we have the names of the columns and then the columns. So what is it? So let's see. This is the code names as made available in the CSV file. So all this code are from INEC, and then we can make use of them as we want. So if you look at the columns, the polygons that doesn't have a record are these ones. And most likely is because they are either combination of 2 or 3 that make up the state constituency, or maybe the name is wrongly captured from the CSV file. So let's first of all handle those names, those LGAs that combine to make up a single state constituency. Like this, like here we have Shanono and Bagwai. So I'll go back and select Shanono and Bagwai. So I've seen Shanono here, and then this is Bagwai. So these two combine to form this particular state constituency. So I'm going to copy the code so that I can use the code there. So I'll copy the code. I'll toggle edit. Then I'll match the two. Then select it, go back to the attribute table, and then update the attribute table accordingly. So from the attribute table, I just need to edit the code, the INEC code. So I'm editing this code column. If you notice, this original code column is empty. So for now, let's edit the one that has the one that came from the CSV file, and then later we can transfer it back here and then remove unwanted columns. So that is that. So I can save it. Then I can go back to the CSV file and then go back to the next one. So the next one is this. Yeah, this one. We have Kura and Garumalan. So those two LGAs to combine to form one state constituency. So let's see, we have Garumalan here, and then we have Kura. So let's see the location on the map. Yes. So I'll join them, select them, select the result, and then copy the code. So I'll copy the code and then add it to the CSV file. Then the next will be, if I go back, check my records, the next will be, yeah, we have another one here, Rimingado and then Tufa. So let me copy the code, then go back to the map. Then we have Rimingado and then Tufa, yes. Then let's check the map for the allocation, yes. So they combine to form one state constituency. So select it, go to the attribute table and then update the code. Then the next local government is Samiyawa and then Kunchi. I'll copy the code before I go back to the map. So Samia and then Kunchi, yes. Let's see their location. So they should be close to each other, yes, of course. Merge them together and then update the attribute table for the code. So we'll have two remaining, which are Tudun Wada and then Kano Municipal. So most likely these were not joined because of the naming convention. So Kano Municipal, let's check for Kano Municipal here. I think something was wrong. Yeah, this is it. So it was called Municipal instead of Kano Municipal. So that LGA exists. So the code is given by this. Then the last one is Tudun Wada. So let's check the records why Tudun Wada was not there. So Tudun Wada, I think most likely it was just called, yeah. So Tudun Wada was spelled together instead of separate as it was on the map. So I can now update this. So usually after the whole process, you can see that we now have 40 state constituencies. So let's verify the record we have here. So based on this record 2 years, we are going to have 40 constituencies. So Kano State has 40 state constituencies. So this is 40. If you remove the column, the header name, the column names, so you should have 40 records. Then also you can also confirm that by going to the resource we have on the website here. So here we have a summary of the name of the number of seats in each state constituency or state house of assembly. So you can see Kano here we have 40. So which signifies that our work was is in order. Another way to also verify this is by sorting the code column. So usually if you sort it, they should be serially. Like here we have 524. Yeah, so this is 523, 524, yes. No, let me sort it in descending order. In ascending order, it should be 485, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 493, 494, 95, 96, 97, 98. So they should be serially arranged when you sort it. So you can easily identify the one that is missing from the serial number. So that is how it has been done. So the next, what I need to do next is I can move the whole of this to here, to this column, and then delete unwanted columns. And then recall that this column came from the CSV. So all these null records, I can easily get them from the CSV file. Or I can simply redo the joining based on this column. And then every record from the CSV file will be joined to the map accordingly. So that is how it is being done, and it is actually not an easy task. It takes a lot of effort to do. So by the time you have done it, you should have everything as a complete map for the entire country. So I hope the process is going to be straightforward and is easy for you to understand. So if you have any issue or if you have any problem, you can contact me and then I'll explain it further. I'll be glad to help you out. So thank you for watching this video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.